Hello one and all, welcome to another top 5 video. In this video, we will be counting my top 5 fantasy anime. Without further ado, this top 5 will be based on my opinion. If you don't agree, please leave out your own favorite fantasy anime in the comment section below, and let's get this discussion going. Furthermore, if you do enjoy my content, I do a lot of Pokemon anime and Nintendo gaming related stuff in this channel, so please do check my channel out or leave a like or subscribe, as that will help me in the algorithm. Without further ado, let's go right ahead and start with number 5. Number 5, Pokemon. I mean, you know me, I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and this was my very first anime to watch, and seeing the adventures of Ash and eventually seeing him finally becoming a Pokemon champion is what started my love for fantasy and adventure anime. So yes, number 5 it holds a very deep special slot on my favorite list. So yeah, number 5 is definitely Pokemon. Number 4, Overlord, my obligatory isekai. As an isekai fan, I just had to put an isekai series onto my list. Isekai being a variant of power fantasy adventure anime, seeing the growth of Ainz into a great ruler and how he navigates his way and interact to the new world is just gold. How he interact and restrain the NPC of Nazarick from going too far, and yet in Kokaitos and Shaltyr's case still promotes character growth for the NPC. So I freaking love everything about the Overlord's world building, characters, freaking character growth. I love everything about Overlord. So my obligatory isekai right there. I think for me, Overlord have that bigger of big impact in my anime weeb fandom kind of life. So without further ado, number 4, Overlord. Number 3, Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is a story of Lucy joining the infamous mage guild Fairy Tail and adventures the world with her guildmates. Now, time for some story time. When I first watched Pokemon, I was only primarily watching Pokemon, but Fairy Tail was the first anime that I realized that I freaking love anime, and through it all, convinced me that to watch other anime aside from Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is sort of like a gateway anime, because when I was watching Pokemon back in the day, Pokemon was the only one that I watched primarily. But when I watched Fairy Tail, that just opened an entire genre of entertainment for me. Freaking Fairy Tail was my very first gateway to anime. The one who introduces me to anime is Pokemon, and my gateway that pushes me to the anime fandom is Fairy Tail. So again, as Pokemon has a special place on my heart, so does Fairy Tail in the nostalgia purposes of Fairy Tail. So yes, number 3 in my list is Fairy Tail. Number 2, a more underrated shonen fantasy is Magi the Labyrinth of Magic. One day, Alibaba meets a mysterious boy named Aladdin who can summon a mighty blue spirit called the Jinn from a flute and travels across the continent in search of Jinn metal vessels. Hoping to harness Aladdin's magical power, Alibaba invites Aladdin to join him on his quest on its dungeon capturing expedition. So for me, the world of Magi, for me, I've read a little bit of the manga. It fascinates me that in this one world, fascinating characters such as Sinbad, the Kou Empire, everything about this world is just fascinating. Freaking even the backstory of Aladdin, which I did read a little about. From what I read, he was the prince of a distant world that King Solomon was ruled upon. For me, the characters, the freaking backstory, the insane lore for Magi, I feel like this series is grossly underrated. Freaking one of the best. And just a lot of, if you were looking for waifus, just a lot of waifus in Magi's. Just great child characters like Sinbad. I think there's also that one high-ranking prince in the Ko Empire. Freaking even Morgiana. Morgiana is top character by the way. Morgiana, freaking Sinbad. What's more? I can name a lot of lovable character. And another thing, is it just me or the main cast have their own story? But the fact that Sinbad can be a main character on itself, like he's literally flexing on the main character by having main character vibes. So for me, Magi stays number 2 and a top fairy tale overlord in Pokemon. I just love Magi. I think it's grossly underrated. Without further probably notice in all of my top 5 lists in this video, they're all fantasy that there's also revolves on adventuring. And the king of adventure series is definitely freaking One Piece. Like Fairy Tail, you have the insane adventure aspect of Fairy Tail, Overlord, Pokemon, even Magi has some adventure aspect onto it. But nothing beats One Piece. How each arc seems a different isolated arc on its own, and yet still somewhat connected to the other future arc down the line. Like people keep asking online where to start on One Piece since it has like over 1,000 episodes, and honestly, you should start in episode 1 for One Piece because Oda will reference and connect everything on One Piece on a very thematic level. There's insane twists, turns, and even builds up things ahead of time, 1,000 episode ahead of time. So for me, One Piece in terms of characters, world, lore, thematic themes, like everything about One Piece, my dude. Like I put him in my top 1 Shounen because of those kind of reasons. I freaking love One Piece, and the main characters for me is like Chefs, because I do love how simplistic Luffy's character is, and overall, One Piece is truly a cut above the Shounen scene. So yeah, One Piece number 1. Everyone knows it. I even discussed all of the recent chapter that has come out for One Piece. I love One Piece. One Piece is definitely has definitely rised up to one of my favorite anime of all time. So without further ado, that is my top 5 anime list.